Today we're driving our 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor up into the mountains in search of some snow. Then it's time for a power upgrade. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV.
This episode is brought to you by OnX Offroad. Save 20% off a new membership using the code DSTV.
Good morning from the foothills of Mount Rainier in Washington State. Today I'm driving my 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor. The forecast was for snow overnight up in the hills, and today we are going to be looking for some deep powder to have a little fun with this truck before we give it its big power upgrade. If you watched my recent snow test with this same Ranger Raptor, you will remember that I encountered a weird power cut at a very unfortunate time. As of today, a week later, Ford still has not reached out with any additional information. I purchased this Ranger Raptor from a dealer in early 2024 for an MSRP of $57,590 US, including destination. As of right now, it is still 100% stock. The tires it came with were these BFG KO3s, which now have about 8,000 miles on them. These are all-terrain tires with a 3-peak designation, which means they are rated for snow and ice. Of course, ideally you should run dedicated snow tires if you're driving in winter conditions regularly. But here in the Pacific Northwest, it's pretty common to run whatever you have. Since we drive to the snow, most of us don't actually live in the snow. Joining me is Eric with his Bronco Wildtrak. His rig is equipped with 35-inch Mickey Thompson all-terrain tires, and he has a winch, which hopefully we won't be needing today. In the back, I did throw about 200 pounds worth of tires to give myself a little bit of extra weight back here. And for our route guidance today, I am of course going to be using OnX Offroad, who also happens to be a sponsor of this video. Since our route today is going to take us into areas where there is no data coverage, I did pre-download maps in advance, which is a really handy feature of OnX Offroad. I can also use the tracking feature to record my trip. Plus, I can also see weather alerts and detailed topographical maps. Click the link below or scan this QR code to save 20% off your membership with the code DSTV. That's for Driving Sports TV. Your membership not only gives you access to one of the best off-road mapping tools available, it also helps support our channel. Okay, with all of that out of the way, let's start our adventure. So the route that we're going on today, I have no idea what the weather conditions are going to be. It was supposed to snow very heavy over the last couple days, but that kind of fizzled out. We ended up with just a little bit of snow overnight. Eric has been there recently, however, and he did promise me that there is snow when we get to the upper sections. Eric's been up here multiple times, so he knows where he's going, which is why I'm following him. But I am running tracking on OnX, which allows me to be able to find this again in the future, because it is just a maze of roads out here in the forest. So of course there's tons of different drive modes on this truck. We're in off-road mode. There's no right mode for everything. In fact, you got a lot of artistic leeway in what kind of a mode you want to be in. I like a little extra wheel spin, so that's doing that right now. Also, when I went into off-road mode, not only did it switch me to 4 high, which I was already in, but if I wasn't in 4 high, it would switch to 4 high. It also locked the rear differential, which I don't really need in this condition, but it's okay. Again, we got a lot of slip in the back, so we're doing fine here. Now, of course, the tires here are these KO3s, and the KO3s are a snow-rated all-terrain tire, which means that they are a little bit better than a non-snow-rated tire. Now, do these replace snow tires? Well, no. Are they fine if I'm just going to go up a mountain road and then go back to an area where there's no snow? Yeah, they're fine. Got a little bit of growth here, but it's not too bad. We're not creating any pinstriping, thank goodness. Obviously, so far, power is not a concern. 405 horsepower is plenty for stuff like this. Does that mean I'm having second thoughts about the upgrade? No. No, of course not. Oh man, this is pretty. Okay, well, we've got a lookout here, but we also have fog. Lots and lots of fog. Snow's getting deep, so we're going to go ahead and air down the tires. I'm going to use these little valve stems. These are automatically set to about 18 psi each, and I got 4 of them. So I can go around and air everything down with little effort.
If you want to go first.
Ooh, why yes I do. Little fresh powder, oh yeah. Woohoo! So right now, I'm just gonna have fun in off-road mode until that's no longer the best choice. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We got this, come on. Don't want to snap around too fast or I'll lose my nose control. There we go. Right, so small tree down, don't need to get the chainsaw out. I'm just gonna use pruning saw. It actually works really good. Boom, there we go, easy. Onward. That's the thing, you know, a little snow and the branches all come down on us. Oh man, you've got to be kidding. Okay, machete time. Okay, so we cleared out all the branches. I had one little injury here, you can see. Oh, look at that. Ah! So I'm doing 4 high. I'm gonna go ahead actually and lock that rear locker. This is pretty deep, but the ground clearance on this truck is really good, of course. So let's try, oh, yep, having a little grip issue here. And I wanna point out that Eric, with his Mickey Thompsons, is not having as many grip issues as I'm having. Of course, he's also on 35s and he's aired down to 12. So he's a couple PSI less than me, and he has a bigger tire to begin with. So those things will, of course, help. And yes, I do have the advantage of Eric clearing the trail for me, which is nice of him. But given my traction here, I think it's a good call to have him in the lead. Okay, doing good so far. Oh. Oh. Okay, so we've now climbed a real world hill. It was about 12 degrees maximum incline. Really not that bad. Truck did fine. I would say though, in watching Eric with his Bronco, that those Mickey Thompson 35s, yeah, they did better in these conditions.
So by the way, I was in slippery mode for the whole hill and it was traction control the whole time. What mode were you in?
Well, I was in off-road mode, but obviously we both made it up. Now at this point, we're gonna go ahead and turn around, head back down the mountain, and then it's time to get a reflash on this truck and finally get it some more horsepower. For this turnaround, I'm gonna put the truck into slippery mode, and we'll see how it does. So, can I do slippery and 4L? Now I'm going into 4L because I'm curious if I can put on my front locker. If I can, that might help drag me around this tight turn. Go to neutral, shift and process. Okay, we're there. Front only? Yeah, we can do front only locker, baby. Let's do it. Suck on that, Jeep drivers. Just kidding. Every vehicle has some feature or another that another vehicle does not.
Lots of room, keep going.
Yeah, I'm doing a multi-point turn in a truck on a shelf road. Whoop. Let's get that front pulled around. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Yeah, I did a good job. In roads like this, when you don't need to get that extra wheel spin, slippery actually works really well. Now, would it have gotten us up that steep climb at our test hill? Absolutely not. That was a momentum situation. But this is not. This is just, well, it's beautiful. So I get where Eric's coming from by using the slippery setting. What it does is it, of course, reduces wheel spin, which helps you kind of get up on top of the snow. If you're dealing with very deep snow conditions, that obviously is ideal. However, today, just not a lot of snow. I was having fun with the off-road mode. And of course, because I pretty much took it easy today, no power cuts. But we also never encountered a 25-degree climb either, so there's that. So the Ford Performance Upgrade Kit for this Ranger Raptor is shockingly small. This is it, right here. That's the whole thing. Whereas with my Ranger Tremor, they also included an air filter. This one, I guess the air filter is just fine to begin with. Now inside, we do get the activation code, which is unique, and you have to log on to the Ford Performance website and create an account, even before you go visit your dealer. So be sure you do that. That way the code is registered to you, the owner. Now the box itself looks like this. And what does this get you? Well, in addition to reflashing the truck, it also gives you a few other little goodies. There's programming, module information, diagnostics, which is cool, data logging, and some other stuff. And it is just a little touch screen. You can read codes, clear codes, and even adjust your tire and gear size. So if you're running much bigger tires, you can adjust so the speedo is accurate, which is really nice. Now it is possible for you to manually flash this yourself. Just be aware you do not get the full Ford warranty if that is the case. Basically, you avoid the warranty on your truck. So even though it's annoying to have to go to the dealer for something that you can do yourself quite easily, I think for the warranty on this, $57,000 truck, it makes sense to spend that extra couple $100. So it did take a couple hours to get this reflash finished because the registration number that Ford sent us wasn't correct. However, Ford did get on it and they replaced it with a new number and we finally got it installed. So does it actually feel faster? Let's find out. Woohoo! This truck now has 455 horsepower and 536 pound-feet of torque. That's an increase of 50 horsepower and more than 105 pound-feet of torque. I think we need to do a 0 to 60 here. Now this is unscientific, but it will give us a good approximation. Now previously I did a little bit slower than 5.6 seconds. I think it was about 5.7. Let's see what we can do now. I'm in Sport 4 Auto. Launch a little and release the brakes. Good Lord! Oh. Yeah, the time was 4.96 seconds. This is a sub 5-second truck. Easy. Easy. So you might be asking, how does this affect fuel economy? Because clearly more power, less economy. Well, here's the thing. If you drive it normal, it doesn't seem to affect it at all. Driving back from the dealership, I was averaging around 18 miles to the gallon with these 33-inch KO3 tires. I mean, obviously, yes, if you're going to do a bunch of 0 to 60 launches, that's going to send your economy south pretty fast. But if you drive it like you drove it before, you're not going to see a downside, in terms of economy at least. Okay, so it's fast on the road. How is it in the dirt? Here we are at our Peninsula Proving Grounds. I'm going to switch the drive mode. I'm in 4 high, off-road mode, traction control off, and rear diff is locked. Let's do it. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, this thing, it's amazing. Like, boom. Just mind blown. Let's try that again, and this time we'll use Baja mode. See how that changes things up. Whoa, yeah. And the suspension is so good, I forget how good it is until I start having some fun with it. And then rotate, boom! Yes! Oh man, this truck, so good. And now it's even better. Yes, I feel the difference. This is a performer, this really is. Flinging sideways on the gravel, it's fun, but I don't think this is going to be a thorough test until we go back to the snow. Off to our mountain test course to finish this up. Woo-hoo! We started with snow, we're going to end with snow as well. And good news, it's been snowing heavily overnight, so we should have lots of fresh powder. It does appear that with all the extra snow, it might be a bit of a challenge just to get into the course. Now, I've already aired down the tires. We're looking at about 15 PSI all around. That's going to give me a squishier tire. That's also going to kind of act a little bit more like a snowshoe. I'm also running in slippery mode right now, which is going to limit the amount of wheel spin. So I'm not digging into the snow, and hopefully I'm staying on top of it. This is awesome. Love this weather. So the temperature right now is 34 degrees. It's, just a little above freezing. That's why the puddles are all so sloshy, of course. And I can hardly see the road here. There is a road here somewhere. Okay, here's a transition from plowed road to no plow. Oh, we're good, we're good. Oh, so far. Wow, this is a lot of snow. So strategy, going into the course isn't going to be too hard because it's mostly level, even though this snow is very thick. But the climb up into the main line, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, we got very slippery snow here. Okay, so here we're going to approach the climb. This isn't terribly steep most of the time, but once you start layering snow and ice on it, it can become a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and lock my rear diffs, and we're just going to try to keep a little momentum and roll up. Now I have taken a couple other vehicles here since the first snow fell, so we have a little bit of trenching here, but we definitely have a lot of fresh stuff. Okay, first test passed. Right, now let's figure out what we're gonna do next. Okay, before we get started, let's check out conditions. We have fairly deep snow in spots. It is layered, so there's like deep snow and then some ice and then some more snow because we've been getting a lot of freeze-thaw cycles and then snow in between. Right now it's kind of slushing out because the temperature is around 33, 34. So things are going to probably change over time here. I think our first thing is we're just going to see how this goes going up the main line, and then after that we might tackle one of the challenge courses. I think for this first attempt up the hill we're going to go and have some fun. Let's switch it to off-road, which is going to limit traction control. I'm going to keep that rear diff locked, and I'm just going to gun it up and let's see what it does. Ooh. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Let's rotate. Right, now let's see some other approaches on that climb. I mean, obviously, if you're unsure on the surface or what's coming around the next corner, you're not just going to gun it through the snow. Likely you will use the slippery setting, which we'll try next. Love it. It's compact snow. This is fantastic. Okay, so at this point, I'm switching to the drive mode to slippery. Now, it is interesting with Ford, they tie a lot of stuff into the drive modes. It's very different than the way Toyota approaches it. Toyota has your drive mode, which handles traction control and throttle, very different than the other settings like rear locker and all that kind of stuff. With the Ford, it'll actually change the four-wheel drive mode as well as locker situations depending on what drive mode you pick. So it's easier in the Ford for people who don't know what they're doing. But one thing I don't like is I might do a manual setting, and then when I flick drive mode, it turns that setting off. Just kind of annoying. Both have their pluses, but I think I prefer the Toyota method. So I went to slippery, and slippery has deactivated the rear diff. And now let's just see how this does. So slippery is going to really look to shut down individual wheels depending on wheel spin to help get us up through tricky situations. And yeah, with very little drama, we got up that no problem. Yep. Right, do we have any other settings we can try? Sure, let's try Baja. Why not? But Ryan, it's not sand. Yeah, so? By the way, brakes are on full. Yeah, it's a little slippery. And keep in mind, this is a closed road. This is my personal off-road test course, and we can do whatever we want here. Rules do not apply. Okay, Baja. Now, Baja, not only does it reduce traction control, it also keeps the revs really high. It's designed for like high throttle, high speed dancing through the sand. Is that what we're doing right now? No. Let's see what it does. Floor it. Woo. Also interesting, it doesn't lock the rear diff. That was fun. Right, well, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we are going to go ahead and try the Rattler again. Now, the Rattler is going to be extra tough because we churned up a lot of snow, not only when I brought the Raptor up it, but also later I brought up my Land Cruiser. And so in doing that, there's going to be some large chunky ice in there that's going to cause some extra issues, I think, or extra fun, depending on how you look at it. I think the entrance, man, it is so snowy. Oh yeah, I think we go in right here. Okay, before we head out onto the Rattler, it's time to get serious. I'm going to switch the drive mode to slippery. And with that, it switches me into 4 auto, and my rear diff is not locked. However, I might lock it if we start to have some transit issues. But first off, I need to get turned around here. This is always kind of tricky. So full throttle, by the way. Slippery is no joke when it comes to cutting power to get you where you're trying to go. Right, let's do this. Man, I cut in a little close. It's really hard to see where the banks are in the snow here, okay? Maybe, let's see if I can just drive through it, use gravity. It's just snow and ice. Oof. By the way, ice can damage things pretty badly. Keep that in mind. Okay, we got through that, no problem. Need to keep a better awareness of my surroundings, apparently. Bump. Oh, there we go. Okay, now the trick is going to be to stay on top of the snow, not digging holes. I'm very good at digging holes. Full throttle, by the way. Get a little momentum. Oh man, full throttle. Is it gonna figure it out? I think let's go ahead and put on that rear diff. This might be more than Slippery can handle. This is more than Slippery can handle. You can just see the wheels spinning. We're not catching any grip. So I'm gonna go ahead and power through this. Let's go ahead and switch it to off-road. Boom. It's gonna shift me to 4 high. It's also gonna lock that rear diff. Now let's see what the difference is. So first off, I gotta back up a bit. Whoa. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Am I stuck before I even get started? Oh man, I got wheels spinning, but I ain't going anywhere. Why is that? Am I high centered? Oh. I'm high centered. I physically cannot go forward because I physically do not have the room. Oh man, that's crazy. And I think I need to really emphasize just how hard this is. I'm standing on it and it's not compacting. And I'm standing higher than the highest clearance on this truck. So, yeah, this isn't happening. Let's go find something else to do. Right. You can't defy physics. And if we're just basically running into a big object, yeah, this is what it's going to be. In fact, I wonder if I need to get my traction boards out. Did we jam onto? Yeah, wheels are spinning, and I ain't going nowhere. Okay, traction boards. So the idea is to try to raise the nose up so I'm not dragging. Oh. Yeah, not only am I high-centered, I'm also seriously troughed out. There we go. Let's go ahead and try these two sides. Reverse. Yep, just spinning wheels. Time to get a shovel out. Again. How hard is that? Oh, that's pretty hard. Yep. You know what? This is not snow. This is ice. Yeah, explains that. Whew. Man, this stuff's compact. So I need to lift the front of the truck up. So what I'm going to do is actually ramp it so I can drive forward. That should drive up the ramps and kind of lift the front up a little bit, which should give us enough momentum to back out. At least that's my theory. Okay, let's try this. Gonna try to drive forward to drive backwards. Let's see if this works. No. Actually, I'm gonna switch to, let's go back to slippery, see if it can grab traction. So we're in slippery, but in 4 low, full locked. Forward technique isn't working. We need to lift up those rear wheels. Just digging down. Not good. I'm just keeping throttle on a little bit. Seeing if it can find anything. Can't. More digging. I've been trying to do this recovery for a couple hours. I tried the max tracks. I even tried jacking up the truck and putting a max track directly under the tire to try to lift it up, but I am just on too much ice. There's no way I can get this truck moved without a little help. I'm not too proud to ask for help. So I asked for one neighbor and he brought his Ram 1500 out. Unfortunately, he couldn't get into the course. Our entry hill was too steep. So next neighbor is now showing up, and luckily he owns a plow service. So he brought out the big guns. Now, hopefully we can get this off the side of the hill and we can wrap up this video. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so I have the plow truck about to pull me out. Let's go. Okay, we're good. Now that the Ranger's been extracted, we can see what we've been dealing with here. And clearly, ice. This is the problem. Look how much ice. I mean, I'm standing on this and it's just not going down at all. So basically we got on the ice, spun the tires. It just basically sat the entire truck down on top of this stuff. So nothing's gonna get through there. That is where ground clearance is king, and even at 10.7 inches, the Ranger Raptor just didn't have enough to get through this. I just drove the Land Cruiser through this same route about a week ago, and clearly conditions have changed. I knew they changed, but I didn't know that they were quite this drastic and that there would be this much ice here. So that's not a failure of the Ranger Raptor. This one is on me, definitely. But at least we were able to get the Ranger Raptor extracted to fight another day. It's nice to have this recovered. Here are my final thoughts about the Reflash. The truck already has 405 horsepower. That's a lot. Do you need to add more power to a truck this size? I would say no. However, the extra power, it's fun. You feel it. Does it give you extra capability? I'm probably going to say no, because there's very few situations where more power yields more capability. So this is more of a fun upgrade, I think. You do get some extra things with the Reflash kit, because you have that little controller that allows you to change the speedo to reflect different tire sizes. You can also look at error codes, stuff like that. So it is a useful tool in addition to the power upgrades. But I would say also this, you know, with the power upgrade, I have now one of the fastest mid-size trucks you can buy, and it's faster than a standard Ranger Raptor. Is that worth it? Maybe. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. I hope you enjoy them, and we'll see you again right here real soon.